guys, FunctionBuilt-Aquatics. Happy New Year's. Today we got our new 20-gallon paludarium. We just put a new light on it. We filled it up and put the Java moss in it. I gotta say, it's one of our best tanks yet. So I'm just gonna let my dad talk for a little bit, but I just want to say one thing. This tank, I mean, we worked so hard on this, and this is just, it's amazing. And it's nice and clear now. It'll get blurry later, but at least we got a video with it kind of clear.
Yep, so this is the Asian Blackwater Paludarium we've been working on. So let's go over some of the features in this tank that we want to discuss. So basically what we have here is the Eheim Aquaball 2210. And Nathan and I built an overflow / filter box that we used some of the, you can probably see the aquarium, well, actually the plastic mesh right there. And we used the foam to basically make the portion of the box. You'll probably not be able to see it too well in this video because the tank's a little bit cloudy. So what we have going on here is the aquaball's turned up to its highest level, and it's pumping the water from the overflow / filter box over the clay balls via a spray bar that I made out of half-inch pipe. Drilled all the individual holes, and as you can see, it's evenly running the water, moving that water down on top of the clay balls and then eventually into the roots of the plants once the plants take a foothold. So that is the only water movement in this tank. The fish going in this tank, like we discussed before, are the beta chanoids, and they do not like water flow and prefer a pretty still aquarium. The lighting is our usual CFL 6500 Kelvin 100-watt bulb. If this bulb proves to be a little too bright for the fish, once this tank starts to tannin up a little bit, I can always dial that down to a number of different wattages that are a little less. As far as the ground cover is concerned, we took 3 days to soak the leaves, both Indian almond leaves, guava leaves, different pods and stuff from Tannin Aquatics to get some of the tannin, extra tannin out of them, and to make them sink. And it has worked out perfect. This will allow us to have a lot of different nooks and crannies for the betas to dip into and hide. There'll be, basically a decent sized group in here, male and females, of course. The sand is the the Carib Sea Instant Aquarium. So very happy with the sand. Doesn't require any rinsing, as you know. It already becomes biologically inoculated, so it's ready to go in the system and add the bacteria it needs to colonize. Now I'm going to take about 4 or 5 days for this tank to mature. We'll do a number of water changes every day to get the water parameters correct, and then we'll add the betas that we already have in the little 2.5s. I'm also thinking about maybe adding a couple of different fish in this tank. Yeah, I've kicked around possibly adding maybe some chili raspberries to this tank, which are pretty small, not aggressive, and might also act as dithers to keep the chano out in the front. And I also kicked around the thought of, Nate and I talked about adding glass cats, which would be really cool in a tank like this. We don't have them, and I think this environment pretty much is close to where they come from. I believe they're more Thailand, and our chano are Indonesian. So, probably not that much of a difference, but, I'll do a little bit more research on that. But other than that, everything else is working out well. The tank, as you know, is a 20-gallon tank cut down to about 3/4. So it's probably holding roughly 13 to 15 gallons of water in it.
Now we're going to have a problem with our tanks because we have 2 20-gallon paludariums, so we're going to have to, this is going to be the second, and that's going to be number 1.
Yeah, well, they're set up with 2 different groups. The other paludarium has our colony of white cloud minnows in it, and red-tail loaches, Chinese red-tail loaches. And this tank, like we discussed earlier, is going to have the betas in. I am I've been looking forward to setting up a tank like this with this sort of paludarium in the past. I've been wanting to do it for a while, and basically, I wanted to get water to flow over the clay balls, so it acts sort of like a biological wet filter. It's not a wet-dry filter, of course, because everything is pretty much submerged. But we will see. We'll see how the water quality in this tank compares to the other paludarium we have. So down there is currently our water change valve. So it's a gate valve I have connected, and the Aquaball sits on top of that little pre-filter sponge, and I could put the bucket right under there. I'll probably add an extended tube to it so we can draw water through a hose. And all I got to do is open up a valve, and I can drop this tank down to whatever level I want to drop it down to, do a quick water change, and move on without disturbing the inhabitants inside the main tank. Now, that was all by accident. This tank came drilled when I bought a group of these tanks from one of my favorite shops that was going out of business, and I was able to buy a bunch of these little 13, 15 gallon tanks that were already drilled, and I needed to do something with the bulkhead hole, and I didn't want to add another tank right down underneath of it right away, because I just don't have anything else planned right now. So I figured the best thing to do is maybe use it for a water change, and I already tested it out and it works pretty well. So that's pretty much it. So in days, this tank will start turning more and more tea-colored, and we'll continue to video the process. So this is video number 3 of the Asian Blackwater Paludarium. If you haven't already subscribed to FunctionBuilt-Aquatics, please do so. Nate and I really appreciate you supporting us, and we hope you like this video. And one more thing in regards to the ground cover that I used to, actually the texture I used on the expandable foam. It's a combination of cocoa dust and peat moss. I mixed it up and I glued it in place, and I covered majority of the formations, including the ones underwater. So just try to get rid of some of the shininess. There's the Java moss, as you can see. Eventually the Java moss will grow the entire wall of the tank. We'll have to trim it up. And I also added some cryptocarian varieties, low light plants to this system. But that's it. No more plants, nothing floating. I want to try to keep it clean and simple. So hope you enjoy, and Happy New Year. Bye.